so nerve-wracking. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about my miscarriage and the dream that the Lord gave me after the miscarriage. Okay, because I was here planning to tell you guys about a different video. It was about like politics, but then I started cleaning up, and then I found this little book right here, and it literally had everything. Okay, I found out I was pregnant, I think somewhere in August, and then it was just like a rough road from there. It was just like everything was just like downhill. Like, okay, I'm just gonna read you and then go over like little sections. Okay, this was at 4:16 a.m. January 16, 2020. I guess this is really the only way to cope. Yeah, this is when I was still pregnant. I guess this is really the only way to cope with my feelings around this time, or go to sleep. But who can sleep when you have so much on your mind? How has this pregnancy been going? Very stressful, but I guess I'm getting through it. Let's see. We need details. So 11/12/2019, started bleeding. That freaked me out because I thought I was going to lose her. Thank God it was only because I was basically getting bigger. Then 11/26/2019, first appointment because I have gestational diabetes. I forgot how to pronounce that. It still sucks, but I need to watch how I eat. Then December 10, 2019, I get put on progesterone because I have a short cervix. So my cervix was short, guys. Okay, so basically I was opening up. So for that, they wanted to do a cleavage stitch. I don't have no clue like what half this stuff is now. I remember back in the day, the cervical stitch to close me up. Okay, yeah, and then December 2019, I found out, I had like some kind of cancerous cells. Yeah, it was kind of like I should have like spoken up like during this whole pregnancy, because not only did they was missing a lot down there. Like, I was opening up and I had a short cervix as well. Then they wanted to take a piece of my cervix to actually sample it and see if it was actually cervical cancer. Like, so much. Okay, yeah, they took a piece of my cervix and that thing hurted. So I'm going to say December 20th, 2019, my water broke. Okay, so when my water broke, I thought I literally like peed on myself. So I was just like, okay, maybe it's just pee, not thinking like you have so many problems going on, so you should automatically immediately go to the hospital. But that wasn't on my mind. So my water broke around the 20th of December in 2019. I didn't go to the hospital till 3 days later, which was December 23rd, 2019. Yeah, that's when I went to the hospital, and it was like, yeah, you ain't got no water in there. Like, why you make come? So I know they put me on like, what they put me on? Okay, then I found out I had no water from their, doctors telling you about abortion, and I was like, I'm a believer in Christ. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, I wasn't like a true hardcore. Like, I had a church, and I was like the beginning stages of being a believer, basically, in Christ. I started like reading the beginning of the Bible, and then the first kind of times that you are like a believer in Christ, it's kind of like coming to the Lord, basically. It's kind of like you write down everything in your book. That's what I was. I was writing down everything. Yeah, I went to the hospital like so many different hospitals, and then so many different hospitals like, oh, I think that you should just, have an abortion. I'm like, how about y'all have an abortion? Like, I'm not about that. Like, this is my first child. Like, I had hope. I really had hope. I was like, I'm like, okay. Pregnancy was very, very lonely. Very, very lonely. Very stressful and very, very lonely. I know it was on the 18th of 2020 in January. And I ain't gonna talk about that, but I just, kind of like blame myself for it in a way, because, if I would have just, I didn't have Christ at that time, so it's kind of like I was searching for, love in the wrong places. So, I just went all buck wild crazy, just stressing myself out for no reason. Then, the next day was on the 18th. I think it was that night on the 17th. I started having really bad contractions. So, they rushed me to the hospital. And, Jesus Lord. They was like, okay, yeah, you're basically losing her. So I was like, oh, yeah, here we go. It was so much to the point where it's like kind of like I was praying every day, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like I had hope basically, and then just to hear that, I was losing her, I was kind of like, I'm trying to figure out how many weeks I was. How many? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure, but I know I was 22 weeks basically when I lost her. But I was looking up like YouTube videos. There was so many miracles, and I'm like, okay, this can be possible. No, it wasn't. So, I end up pushing her out. I didn't really want the doctors to take her because I'm like, then she's gonna be in pain, like. And then you sit there and think like, oh man, what if? But God always has a plan. So I know she was just like, they tried, but it's kind of like, okay, if it be willing. I know I was sitting there just crying, and I'm like, okay, every like 5 minutes or 3 minutes, I'm checking up on, asking the doctor, like, oh, is she still alive? Is she still alive? Is she still alive? Is she still alive? And then finally, she passed and she went. And I remember, just feeling so alone, because I was there alone. I'm just gonna be honest with that. My husband wasn't there. He couldn't deal with like all the like screaming and stuff. We gonna cut that out, but nah. I was literally there by myself. So when she passed, it was kind of like I didn't have nobody there to actually console me. Then they rolled her out the room, and it's a weird feeling, because it's kind of like I had peace, but felt like as soon as they rolled her out, it was kind of like that peace left. It was something that went on down there. Oh no, they gave me some kind of needle that I ate, and then I was just sitting here just throwing up, and I had to wait a long time, and I was literally like bleeding out down there. And like every time I would throw up, it was kind of like you would get like, once you push it, then it's kind of like a whole lot. And then finally it was just like to the point where it's just kind of like bleeding everywhere. And then that's when they're like, oh, we gotta bring her to the get a stitcher, and then they remove the sack from down there. Oh Jesus, this is just like, okay. So I know they had me in the hospital until the next day, and then that was the 19th, and then which child? I know it was kind of like it hit me. I'm like, oh my goodness. I you know, I was like, can I hold my child? Like, even though she's down in the morgue, I'm like, can I hold my child? And then I know the doctors was kind of looking like, we'll see. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we'll see. So it's kind of like they signed the papers and sent me on my merry way. Then I just went home and I just lost it. I lost it. I fell on that floor and it was kind of like I was done. It was kind of like my faith was done. I was done mentally. Like, ooh, I was so broken. I was so broken. And it was hard because, you know, men cope in different ways. As, you know, men and women cope in different ways. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, is he even like kind of like sad about this? Like, but he wasn't talking. My husband was not talking to me at all. Like, it was kind of like, I'm like, Lord, like, what the heck is this? It's kind of like, it's good to talk about it, like, just to help somebody else out, and know that, you know, you can push through this. Like, you can go through, like, it was hard, like, healing, very, very hard. Like, I had some ups and I had some downs. I had some ups and I had some downs. Okay, so we're gonna move along. I don't know when I had this dream though. I know it was like really hard for me to sleep, and I put on this like meditation kind of music to sleep in like 3 minutes. I can't even explain it, but it was kind of like ocean waves mixed with high pitched music and low pitched music and birds humming, and it was like just it was just, and I know I just slept with like headphones on because I'm like, I'm asleep. Alright, sorry guys, you know, camera cut off and, you know, got a little cold, so this ain't the next day. It's just me, you know, putting on some clothes. Okay, remember I said I asked the doctors basically at the hospital that I wanted to hold my child again. So remember that part. Okay, just remember that part, you know. Dream just shows how much, you know, God hears, and, you know, he's with us and he listens. Basically, he listens and he's with us, and then he's like, you know, he mourns with us basically as well. I began to have a dream, and I was literally in heaven. The water, the blue water, the crisp water. I was walking on water, and the sky. It was this crisp blue, like beautiful clouds. The water was this crisp blue, like, oh my goodness, like the colors are unimaginable. Like, you can't even fathom the colors. It's not the same as the colors that we're seeing down here right now. They're like magnified, intensified, like 10 times max. So, okay, I was walking on water, and then from afar, under the water, it was a bunch of lights, and I was walking to it. It was like little balls of lights. And as I got closer, I could hear like children's laughter, like playing, like, you know, kids when they're playing in the playground, they're full of laughter and joy. It's like, ha ha ha, like, you know, I heard that. Then I go to look down, it's just like a whole bunch of lights under the water, and then it's like they're playing together, and it's like zooming everywhere. And I went, so they just told me, like, reach in. And I reached in, and I pulled out my daughter. Child. Then when I pulled her out, you know, you can see like kind of like the shape and the form of the child, your child basically. but it's still like this big ball of light, but you can literally see your physical body basically, but in light basically. Imagine me, but just a bright light basically. So I know I was picking her up, I was holding her, and then it switched to a scene where it was like a park, and this park had beautiful colors like grass. The grass was beautiful, the flowers was just swaying all over the place, and you know, it was like this big tree, and under the tree it was a bench, and then I sat there and I held my child, and I was just sitting there admiring her beauty, playing with her, laughing with her, speaking to her, you know. Then the music that I was listening to while I was sleeping, it changed into like this deep intensified music, and then the cloud changed, the sky changed into like dark clouds, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. I know that I'm in a place that is in heaven basically, and this intensified music and this feeling that I'm having right now is 10 times intensified to the point where it's like kind of like I want to run from it basically. So I was like, oh no. I woke up because I was like, I already knew basically what was coming, and I wasn't prepared for that meeting just in that point of time. Like, whew, because I was like, I was filthy, I was afraid, because it's kind of like I knew of God, but you know, not knowing much, it was kind of like, he's coming to kill me. Like, he's coming to kill me. You know, that's basically all. It just shows like the love that he has for us, because I wasn't in like this deep relationship with him, but you know, he still heard basically. It was like I wasn't even praying, I was asking the doctors this question, and the Lord literally heard what I asked the doctors, and he gave me one more chance to hold my child in the most beautiful way ever. I'm just gonna say, like, you know, it takes time to heal basically. It really does, and a lot of prayer. I know the Lord was with me through all of this basically. Every piece of healing, you know, it was kind of like I was lonely, I was frustrated, but you know, the Lord would just keep on telling me like, get up my child, get up my child, get up my child, and you know, pushing me. Like, I don't know, this day and age is like people don't go through trials and tribulation. They would rather stem from it. They would rather like, no, I don't want to go through that. Like, I'd rather be peaceful and easy. But it's kind of like we have to go through these things, like, in order to heal and then be able to help others in this world as well. Like, if somebody's down and you know they need some advice, you could just, you know, give them Christ basically, like how Christ led you. But and that's all. That is all of my story. I pray that this, truly pray that this helps somebody to at least keep on pushing forward. This is not the end, you know. It's kind of like a balloon, and then, you know, the pressure goes. And every day, you know, just take a cry as much as possible. If you want to cry, if you want to go outside and shout, you go ahead. You go ahead. I'm just out. With the love of the Lord. It's only through the love of the Lord that I can keep on pushing forward. That's all. Have a blessed day, guys. Bye.